Good evening, all 72 of you lovely subscribers. Welcome back to the Easy ASTRO Image channel. I am Chad, and today we're going to do some Pixinsight easy basic tutorial type of stuff. What we're going to do is we are going to take this image here on the left, and we are going to try to turn it into the image on the right. So let's go. So what we have here is, of course, the Pacman Nebula shot with my Radian Raptor 61 and the ASI 183 one-shot Color Pro camera. And we are not stretched or anything like that. This is complete right out of weighted batch pre-processing. Hopefully you guys know how to get to that point. If not, we could do a video on it sometime if you like the way that I present stuff to you. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just crop this image. Click on the little X here to link it and pull in our little nubs. Make sure you have your little nubs there. We're going to get rid of any little sloppy things we should have in the corners, but everything in my corners look pretty good. And we've got a decision to make here. We've got a big star with a halo there. We can kind of pull in a little bit here to get rid of that if we want to, or we can just go ahead and deal with it. I think we'll leave it at that. I like it without that halo. So that halo is gone. We'll come back down the road to learn how to take care of that kind of stuff. The next thing we're going to do is a dynamic background extraction. Now you can use the automatic or you can use the dynamic. Now the next thing we are going to do is a automatic background extraction, which seems to work pretty good. A little bit easier than the dynamic. The dynamic, I think, if you're doing some real hardcore imaging, that you might want to try that out and give that an actual try. But my image looks pretty good here. We just need to equalize things, and that's pretty much what these background extractor tools do. The only thing that you're going to want to change is down here in the function degree. Go ahead and start with a 0 and you can see what's going on. A 0, 1, or 2 is pretty much the only things that you're going to want to do. Go ahead and select subtraction, and we want to see the background model just so we can exactly see what's going on. And we'll replace the target image and just drag and drop, and we'll see what it actually does for us here. So this right here is our background image. This is what it took away, which is pretty much just flatness. And this right here is going to be our stretched image. We can go ahead and revert back to all of that stuff if we want to, and get rid of this stretch. We'll stretch it again. Let's see what it does with a function degree of 1. We'll do the exact same thing. And if we take a look at what it took out, it kind of took out like this background modeled effect that I'm not sure was actually there. The image to me looks about the same. If we go to 2, it's probably going to get a little too crazy. So I think we're just going to leave it at 1 and call it a day. So we'll close that out. Next thing we're going to do, real simple. We are going to run the auto color script. If you do not have this installed, we can make a video about that as well. But this works just perfectly every time. And we're just going to run it, and it's real fast and everything, which is a great thing in Pixinsight. Anything we can do to speed things up and make our life easier, that's what we are all about. We're not looking for APODs here on this channel, remember. All right, and that looks a lot better already. You can just see how it got rid of like all that green cast and all that nasty kind of stuff that was going on in there. So the next thing we want to decide is, do we want to try to run some deconvolution to kind of bring back some of this detail that is in here? Usually deconvolution works okay for me. There's more involved ways to do it that can get us better results. But since we're doing things the easy way here for you guys to get you started in Pixinsight, we're going to use the Easy Processing Suite. So this is Dark Archon's processing suite. I'm sure if you're using Pixinsight, you know about it. If not, there's plenty of videos about it. And I think in my last processing video, I showed you actually how to get that. So there's literally 3 buttons we have to click here. We need to create a new processed star mask. So we'll let Pixinsight just go ahead and do that. And we'll watch our CPU temperature climb as it does that operation for us. Button click number 2, we want to create a background mask. Button click number 3, actually number 4, because we got to get to it. We want to go to create PSF, which is going to be a model image of our stars, so we can help get those things a little smaller. So what we just did to our image here was we ran it through the Easy Processing Suite, Easy Denoise script, and we've got our image here. Our denoised image here is on the left and our original is here on the right. And looking at the screen, you can see that it did a pretty good job on everything. So that's what we're going to work with now and get ready to stretch this image. So we're going to get rid of this one right here. So this is where we're going to deviate a little bit. What I like to do for processing that really just makes your images look better and a lot easier. Instead of doing things like star reduction and stuff at the end of our imaging, what we can actually do is remove the stars and stretch those separately from the actual nebula itself. Now there's a couple different ways to do this. For free inside of Pixinsight, you have the StarNet++ process, which can do all of that stuff. But what I have been using recently is the Star Exterminator process. Now this is available for free to try out for 30 days from the Star Exterminator website, and it does a great job. And the best part about this is you can do this in the linear state, which is pre-stretched, so that way you can stretch your stars separately from your actual nebula. And what that's going to do is it's going to help out with star bloat, and you can see that I've got like some false coloring and stuff, which we can get rid of. But then that's going to also take away from our star color. So we can bring those stars back and we'll make them a little bit smaller. We'll reduce them and we'll also reduce all this bad color. So show you what we got going on. So I've brought up Star Exterminator and we want it to generate an image, and this is a linear image. So we're just going to drag and drop. This process is a lot faster than the StarNet++, seems to be a lot less resource intensive, so it should run a lot faster on anybody's machines. Okay, so the process is finished, and if we want to take a look, you can see that we've got a starless and a starred image, and they look quite different. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and let's stretch our stars first. So we'll put our main one up here. We're just going to simply name it stars by changing the identifier. And then we're going to bring up the histogram transformation tool and click on the real-time preview and reset it and then link it. And this is going to be pretty much up to you how much you want to actually bring back the stars. I usually need to go through about 2 passes. So we'll go through 1 pass right there, reset it. And then this is where you can kind of get out of control. You see, that's kind of like what it looked like before. But what I noticed is I just like a little curve like that right there in the line. And that seems to do a really good job. So here are our stars right here. And we can do some quick work on those if you want to. The first thing that I would do, go ahead and zoom in a little bit here. And let's go ahead and invert the image. And you can see that we've got some green, we've got some red, we've got all kinds of like nasty stuff going on, that false coloring. So we can bring up the SCNR tool, which is going to default to green. We'll take out our green first. Then we're going to change it to red, take out our red. And now we should get some stars that look pretty decent. We'll go back into view and we will invert this again. And there's our stars. They've got some color to them. Not too bad. The strong ones are still going to stand out. And when we put this back into our image, it's going to just make our image look super great and nice. We've already done star reduction. We don't have to do anything else like that. So we'll go ahead and just park it right up here, and we'll open up our main image, and I'm going to change, we'll leave it main. That's fine. So now we'll go ahead and stretch this. You got a couple options. If you're afraid to do stretching, you can do the easy processing suite and the easy soft stretch if you would like. Or you can do the histogram transformation, which I like to use because I have more fine control. So the first thing we're going to do is just drag this all the way over, and we start to see things kind of pop up a little bit. We're going to reset that. We're going to do the same thing. Right there is like the foot to the edge of our image, and we're going to leave it right there. Reset it. I'm going to blink so I can see the histogram. So now what I want to do is bring this in, and then we're going to bring down that dark level. And we don't want to go too deep. We don't want to clip and everything like that. So let's just keep bringing this up a little bit. And you can see there's like all this color noise and all this bad stuff like that in the background. So, you know, it's up to you. I don't mind clipping off a little bit of data to kind of hide some of that stuff. You know, like I said, we're not going for APODs here, but the main thing is that you definitely want to be able to bring out this stuff in Nebula. So you don't want to sell yourself short here to get a good background versus right here. Now we can do that with curves. So I think what we'll do is we'll just kind of leave it at that right there. And there is our image. Doesn't look too bad. Definitely could use some work. The first thing we're going to do on it is just go ahead and remove green cast, so it just kind of gives us a little clearer picture of what we got going on. And we did that with the SCNR. And now I believe what we will do is we'll work on the actual background itself. Now, to keep things simple, we'll just use curves and kind of hide everything. But what we could do is, if you're a little bit more advanced, you could use, there's a lot of different nonlinear state noise reduction methods that you can use. But for the point of this channel, to try to just make everything look good and get people some good images, we're just going to leave it this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a point right here and a point about right here. And we're going to pull down the blacks and the dark in the background here. And you can see it's going to kind of get rid of a lot of that stuff. And we still have the Pacman in the middle there. And then we will just go ahead and pull up right here, and we can start to bring the Pacman out a little bit. And it's kind of up to you how much you want to. We don't want to blow out all those details in the core of the Pacman. And maybe we'll want to try to bring some of it back. But really, it's not bringing a whole lot of the Nebula back. It's basically just bringing back more of that background modeling. So we'll leave it like that. That looks good. And we'll turn everything off. So there is our Nebula right there, looking pretty decent. The next thing, I think what I want to do is just kind of play with colors a little bit. So we'll bring curves back up. And notice that we're still just working on the actual Nebula itself. We're not doing anything with the stars, because anything that we would do would negatively affect them. So we've got saturation selected here on curves by just pressing the S button. And, you know, we can just bring this up right here a little bit. And you can see that it's going to really bring up that color to like a fire engine type of color, or if we wanted to. Or you can desaturate it a little bit and get, you know, a different kind of a look on the Pacman. I kind of like that desaturated look. You know, you see a lot of this kind of stuff going on. That's actually a pretty neat look. I think I'm going to, yeah, I like that. That's pretty cool. You just never know what you're going to get sometimes. So we got our Pacman Nebula here, and I think one of the quick things I want to run is the enhance dark structure script. And that will just kind of bring out some of this dark structure that's in here and make everything look a lot cooler. It's like entering in your cheat code. So we've got that right there, and that looks great. You know, from here, to keep things simple, we could just combine our stars back and give our image, but you can see that there is a lot of different things in here that we're neglecting and that we can capture for more advanced users and times using masks and things like that to really bring out all of these different details. If I had a little bit more data, that would probably help out as well, but we don't have that right now. So we're just going to make a nice image out of this. So the next thing I'm going to go to is pixel math, and we're just going to bring these two back together. And I'm just going to write stars plus main and hit the button. And there is our final image, guys. Like I said, not going to win any kind of APODs or anything like that, but coming from the original image right out of the stack to this is just great. The nebula really pops out. It's not hidden by the stars, but if you look really close, you can see that we've got some nice stars with some color going on and all that kind of stuff. If we poured more data into this, or if this was shot in monochrome, it would look even better. I really like the desaturated look, and everything was just super easy and simple to do. So I hope you guys found this little tutorial educational, fun, all that kind of stuff. There'll be a lot more coming on the channel. All I need is clear skies. So I wish you clear skies and everything else. Peace.